Hello, Divyam, how are you?
Good evening, Mr. Subhash. How are you?
A very good evening. I am very good. I am fine. You tell me, what about you?
I'm great. I'm great. So,
Nice.
have you gone through the document for today?
Yes, I went through the document.
Great. I am really excited to talk to you about this one.
I hope I will live up to your expectation.
Oh, please don't say it like that, please. I'm sure you are an interesting person. I would like to know your views on this. So, as you know, today's topic is paper versus screen, right? First off, the main question: what do you prefer? Do you prefer like books, newspapers, and papers, or do you prefer the same kind of knowledge being consumed through a phone or a computer?
Yeah, actually, it depends. In my case, from my experience, I am telling you. Suppose there is something very important that I have to consume for knowledge, then I always like to go to acquire that knowledge through books or other papers, not on screen. And if there is something that I just have to need to give a glance on the matters, then I prefer to go for screen.
Okay. So if it was something, if you're trying to learn a new skill or learn a new art, then you would invest more time and money and put that effort into books and actual hard copies.
Yes,
But if
because
you
when I try to read those things on screen, after some time I find it's very difficult to go on continuously, and it put more stress on my eyes also.
it puts
But
more
if it
stress.
happens, yeah, so if it happens to be books or other papers, hard copy, then I can read 2 3 hours continuously. I don't feel any difficulty reading so long. And
Mm.
one more thing that I have experienced, that it is easier to comprehend the matter that is given in the books,
Mhm.
but it is a bit difficult to comprehend, to continuously focus on the matter while we read on screen. This is my personal experience. I'm telling you. Suppose if there anything, suppose you even the tutors also. So few days back, one tutor told me to read one short story. So it was only a matter of 3 4 pages. But what I did, I took out the print of that pages rather than read a story on screen, because I wanted to read it carefully. I wanted to comprehend the things, what it is written, the meanings, everything. That's right.
Do
So
you
I
think
find it.
do you think reading a book or reading through paper gives you a more satisfying experience?
Yes.
It
I
fulfills you, right?
yes, yes. Actually, it does.
Okay. Do you think that is because of your habits, or do you think this is something that everyone should experience?
I think everyone. I think, because when I experience, I also feel like that some others also feeling like same as me,
Mhm.
and it happens to everybody, that that the pressure that I told you about on our eyes,
The
it put
strain, not the
the
pressure, the
strain here.
strain. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay. So this is more about your physical strain when it strains your eyes and it makes you feel drained, right? It kind of how do you say it drains you technically, right?
hmm and also when we read on paper, it is easier also to read, and I feel it's easier to comprehend, and
It's easier to remember
satisfaction.
afterwards,
Yeah,
to recall.
yes. And the one more thing that you told, satisfaction is there.
It makes you can say it fulfills, like it's a fulfilling experience, right? uh,
It's a
the
fulfilling
difference
experience.
between, let's say you're talking about food, right? So if it's a paratha, like let's just take a paratha for an example. um, you can either make it at home or you can have it at a restaurant, but one of them is going to make you happier, even though they are the same dish, same recipe, right?
Yeah.
So which one is it for you, home cooked or outside food?
again there is some differences there because the food that we eat at home on a regular basis, so when we want to change our taste, no? So we go to the restaurant and there are varieties of foods that they prepare. We generally don't prepare at home, so we like it. But if you ask me the regular kind of food, say in our place, actually we eat rice in
Okay.
our lunch, in our dinner also. So if you ask me whether you would like to eat rice outside your home or you would like home cooked food, so in that case, my answer will be I would like to have this food at home.
Okay. So obviously you have told me your preferences. You prefer paper over screens.
Hmm.
But what if it is something that is time sensitive, something that's urgent? Like an example is if someone calls you, okay, and they say that, hey, Mr. Paul, please note down this number. So do you
Hmm.
use your phone or any sort of electronic device to type it out, or do you have a pen and paper ready with you?
Yeah, it is easier to note down in our mobile only because we can immediately do it. Otherwise, we have to go look for the pen and paper. That at that moment, pen and paper may not be with me. I'll have to find out. So it took some time. It takes some time. So yeah, I will definitely because one more thing you see nowadays what happens that earlier I used to read newspaper, that is hard copy, but now what
Excuse
happens
me.
that newspaper we can get newspaper at our fingertips. So sometimes what I do, so I was traveling on a bus, so it may take half an hour or 1 hour journey. So I just read the newspaper online.
You
So it is,
scroll through your phone to read the news.
and if there is any word that is I don't understand, I am not familiar with, then immediately I Google it. So it is very easier for me to read newspaper.
That's a good practice. You should do that. Yes. So
Yeah.
you do agree that obviously screens are much more convenient because you can carry them anywhere. You can research anything you want in the whole world.
In that, yeah, in that aspect, yeah, it is. Yeah.
But obviously you prefer books. I think I am the
Well,
same way.
it's coming as I told you when I have to go through some information at a glance. Then to focus on a particular matter, I have to then
Read books.
read book. I think they are more to screen. What I feel when I see them that they are spending a lot of times on mobile or laptop.
Mhm.
In that case, I think they are more into screen.
So, this reminds me, I had seen a video earlier where they talk about how, how sometimes old people say that, oh, nowadays the generation doesn't talk anymore. They're just busy with their phones. Every time they're going somewhere, you always see them looking down on the phone or doing something on the phone, right?
Hmm.
So, do you think that this generation, not even this, like last 2, 3 generations, is more, you know, engrossed in their phone than actually talking to someone? Do you think this generation is communicating less than the previous generations?
Yes, not only this generation, I think, even the people from our generation also, I have seen they are spending much time on mobile. Even in my case also, I spend a lot of time on mobile or
But
computer.
but if the mobile had not been invented or the computer had not been invented, we would be talking to each other, right? That's what you're saying.
Yes, yes. At our leisure time earlier, when we were young, so it to spend a lot of time in gossiping, or we used to go to our neighbor's place. So all these things were there, but nowadays all these things have vanished.
All
Everybody is
these things
busy.
have vanished, yes, because people have something to do on their phones. They can play a game or they can research something. Okay.
Even at our home also, most of the time we find ourselves everybody is busy with their phone. Nobody is promoting with one another. The whole
Hmm.
day it happens at our home also. Then you can imagine how it is.
Okay. So the video I was talking about, in that they asked 1,000 people do you think this generation, the latest generation, is communicating less than previous generations used to communicate with each other? Okay. And 70% of them said yes, they agree with what you said. They agree that this generation is communicating less. But actually, this generation is communicating like much more. I think 50 or 70% more than all the previous generations combined. Okay, there are two reasons for that. Firstly, the population has increased a lot, so you have
Mm,
more people to talk to, right? Your social
mhm.
circle has increased a lot. Secondly, what do you think people are doing on their phones? They're just on social media, and social media is just a platform to talk to other people, right? So let's
Yes,
say,
yes,
Mr. Subhash, you put up a picture and I comment on your picture. Wow, this is such a good picture. It's looking really nice. Your family is looking really happy. That's me communicating. Even though I'm not saying it to your face, I'm still talking to you, right? I'm still sending a message to you. So
yeah. He is there, but there is not seriousness is there. They're just
they may be
uh,
casual messages. I
mhm.
understand it's not a face-to-face interaction, but it's still technically communicating because you are talking to other humans.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Because let's say, like I have an uncle who lives in the US, right?
Mhm,
I
mhm.
can't go meet him all the time. I have to communicate with him through online platforms,
Yes,
WhatsApp, Facebook, all of these, Instagram. That doesn't mean I'm not communicating with him. That doesn't mean our relationship is not still the same, right? We're still sharing our lives or our problems. It could be anything, correct?
yeah, yeah,
So I think there is a small bias that just because you're on your phone, you're not connected to people. The only difference is you are connected to the people you actually want to talk to. Because in the earlier days, let's say you went to your cousin's house or someone's house. When we were
mhm.
younger, we didn't want to talk to our relatives, right? We were like, no, I don't want to talk to them. They'll ask me boring questions. They'll ask me about my studies. They'll ask me when I'm getting married,
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah,
So you didn't have an option to talk to your best friend who is in another city. But now we have that option. Let's say I'm going to a cousin's house or to a relative's house and I don't get along with them. I'm not happy talking to them. I can
yes,
talk to my wife on the phone. I can tell her, hey, let's make a plan for this weekend. Let's go to, a hill station. I can make a plan with my college friends saying, hey, let's go watch that movie. Right? Right. So
yes,
that's
yeah,
still
yeah.
communicating technically. It's just that we are
Yes,
communicating
you're
with
right.
different people.
Because you can communicate at any moment, wherever you are, no matter. You are on a train, you are on a bus, or you are in a market. You can communicate through social
Please.
media or using your phone. Because in our days there is no such facilities like phone. Even to do one phone, we have to wait.
Yes.
Now you are carrying the device with you, so you can make a call to anybody at any moment.
I remember when I was in my seventh or eighth standard, we only had landlines. There were mobile phones, but as a middle class family, we did not really invest in mobile phones at that time. We didn't think it was necessary because we were used to things the way they were.
Yes,
Everyone had a landline. If you want to talk to them, call the landline. If I was not home, my mom would write down a message saying, "Hey, call this person back. This person's number is XYZ, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, whatever." So when these mobile phones came out, I think one thing that I noticed, I don't know if your generation or you have noticed this, is that just because you have a mobile phone, people assume they can call you or they can text you whenever they want. And they expect you to answer, right? So I tell myself that just because I have a mobile phone, I have WhatsApp or I have Instagram or I have the calling service, doesn't mean I have to answer your calls or your messages. I am entitled to my own space. Whether if I'm not in a good mood, it's okay if I answer tomorrow. How does it matter,
yes,
right? But then
yeah,
people are like, I messaged you 3 hours ago. Why haven't you replied? I'm like, maybe because I'm doing something, I'm busy with something else, or I don't want to talk to you. That I think that sense of freedom has gone away a little bit, don't you think?
yes, yes. Because you cannot deny also. If somebody make a call to you for that particular moment, you may not be there, or you may not attend, but the missed call will be showing
The
in your mobile.
notification will always show.
Yeah, so you cannot deny that. Oh, I did not hear your call, but later you should. you will always know that somebody had called you and the number will be showing on your mobile. It will be on
Yeah.
display. So yeah, you cannot deny it.
So I'll just end up telling you, Mr. Paul, I called you. You didn't see my missed call. You should have called me back as soon as you saw the missed
Yes,
call.
yes.
Right. And I think that is very, like, sometimes it's very irritating. Obviously, if it's really urgent, I understand, because that is what we are using mobile phones for, to stay connected, to make sure we
Mm.
don't miss out on anything and we don't get late for anything. But where is the limit? Where do we cross the line?
It happened with me also. Sometimes I even don't want to give. A, I mean, I want to call back to the person who called me, and if I see in the missed call, it is displaying. Even though I don't want to call, but I think that I should call, otherwise he would mind. It's like
Yeah.
that.
To be respectful, to as a
Yes,
courtesy, that yes,
yes,
I'm acknowledging that you called. Please tell me
yeah,
why you called. Right. I
yes.
think we need to do that. But I think slowly, I'm just going to stop using my phone. I was in Rajasthan this weekend and I saw this really old Nokia phone. You know how we used to have these.
Yeah, yes, the small one.
So I
Yeah.
saw that and I was like, I took it in my hand, the box, and I'm like, can I just buy this phone? I don't have to deal with WhatsApps. I don't have to deal with Instagram, Facebook, anything. I just calls. Just when people need to call me, they can SMS me or they can call me. Go back to a time where it was so simple, right?
Yes.
And I looked at the price and it's like 5,000. And I just asked him, are you serious? How can this simple phone be for 5,000? Nowadays, Redmi is providing you a smartphone for 7,000 rupees. And you're
Mm-hmm.
charging me 5,000 for that. It's not even a digital screen. It's like one of those, it was not a black and white phone, but it was still an old screen. So I was very surprised that it was so expensive